Hey AVP Wargamers, it's me Jason coming to you with another video. Now today I'm going to be showing you a little bit of my jungle terrain that I've been working on. I just downloaded Predator Hunting Grounds for PlayStation 4, so if you want to battle me, just look me up. My handle is Cracked Tusk. You can find me on there. I'll be playing it once it's done downloading, hopefully sometime later tonight. Anyways, I have with me my own hunting grounds for my Predator. And I'm going to kind of explain to you how I did this. So here's a Predator Jungle Hunter from Protos Games. And this was an exclusive that you could only get when you bought the Predator statue. But I got mine with the Last Stand sale. When they would discontinue these guys, they released all their super exclusive stuff, or you could buy them individually as they were getting rid of their stock. So that is that Predator. Now here is his little trophies. What I did was I watched the movie Predator, and I wanted to get Hopper and his men hanging in there. And so what I did was I got this piece of wood. It's just a square piece of wood. I probably should have rounded these edges, but I did sand it a little bit to kind of meld it down a little. It's got palm trees that I got off of Amazon. These are just little plastic palm trees. The rest of this is white glue, styrofoam, and paper towels. So I kind of sculpted in these paper towels here to kind of look like terrain, and then I flocked it. I got these little ferns here. And if you watch my Floating Mountains video here on AVP Wargamer YouTube, you can see like some of these materials out of the bag that I bought at the store. Now, I got a bunch of sticks and put sticks all over this, because if you watch the movie Predator, you'll notice that the trees are very tall and skinny, and they're actually quite tan. Mine are a little bit greener than the ones in the movie, but I wanted that hill that Billy was going to climb up, and then he sees the horror of Hopper and his men. I also did a couple of little splats of blood where the guts were kind of left by the Predator. But I also wanted this to be a piece of gaming terrain that my characters could go on and actually move around in. So I can use this for Warhammer 40k. I'm mainly going to use it for Aliens vs. Predator Unleashed. But right now I'm working on a Predator scenario where I'll have the Predator like a campaign where one person plays the Predator while the other person plays the humans, which will be Dutch and his team of special forces, and then have I want to get some Afghan, or not Afghan, but the South American guerrillas as like an army as well. And I'm really having a hard time finding troops that I could paint up as Afghan guerrillas with the old, hats and stuff. I guess I need to look at more Vietnam kind of miniatures to find those guys. I got a couple leads, but I'm still working on it. Now, the first stage, we're going to come to this bast of trees here, and I've got the same. I did the same thing with this. This is a couple of large sticks with some little plastic palm trees, real moss, fake ferns, all kind of blended together with lots and lots of floral wire. Now, this floral wire, I'm going to hang a helicopter off of. The helicopter I did a video about. I kept breaking it and dropping it. So it's going to be a smashed up helicopter from the beginning of the movie Predator. It's going to be hanging in these trees. I've already got the dead bodies set up and ready to go. I just got to finish painting it. And then I'm going to hang this wrecked helicopter in here as just an awesome piece of terrain. So we'll have Dutch and his team face off in here. And I'm thinking that maybe the first scenario could be a team of special forces with Hopper and his men versus some guerrillas, and then the Predator comes and finishes them off, and then you bring in Dutch's team and battle your way through different levels until you come to the completion where you have Dutch versus the Predator. So, how did I get those bloody good hanging guys? Well, right here I have painted up a skinned body. You can download these off of Thingiverse, and print them off on your 3D printer at home. I actually got these from Polymorph Miniatures, who printed them up for me and shipped them off to me. And these are perfect scale for Warhammer 40k and for Aliens vs. Predator, and they're really easy to paint. These was painted red with a pink dry brush over the top, and then I used Blood for the Blood God Games Workshop paint and watered it down a little bit to kind of give it a bloody wash over the top. Now, a buddy of mine gave me this bad boy. Here is the Predator accessory pack from NECA, and you can see that they painted it pretty much the same way. So it's really good to look at reference photos from the movie and action figures, because that kind of gives you an idea of how you could paint them up for your own team. Now here is my Predator team. I actually have 2 Predator teams. These 2 teams are from 2 different companies, and this extra Blane here, he's from Hassle-Free Miniatures. He's my favorite of the bunch, but I'm going to kind of go through these and show you their quality, and we're going to compare them side by side. Now, this row over here with the wider bases, this is from Studio Miniatures. This is their Special Forces team from their Turf War Z set. And then these guys are from Rogue Miniatures. These are called Dogs of War, and that's how you find them. I'll put some links to both of those websites in the description, so you can kind of go for this yourself if you want to get your own team. So first, let's look at Mac. So here is, let me focus this in. Here is the Studio Miniatures version of Mac. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Can we focus on you, Mac? Just focus on you. There we go. All right, so here's Mac. Now, one thing I do like about this one is the base is a lot bigger, and it matches the bases from Protos Games. So you can see Mac there. And then here's the Mac from the Dogs of War set of Rogue Miniatures. Now, I like the Rogue Miniatures a little bit better because they're bigger, just a little bit. And I think the sculpts are a little bit nicer too. But again, each one of these has their own personality. And here's Dylan. I painted his fatigues all fresh, spanking new. I probably could have done a little bit better contrast on his face there. It looks a little flat in this video, but there he is. But the Dylan from Dogs of War, he's just ready to rock. Look at that. He's just showing off all those muscles. Look at that. Both of his guns. That's awesome. Okay, now let's go to Poncho. Here's Poncho with his grenade launcher. Again, the smaller bases are Rogue Miniatures, and the wide bases are Studio Miniatures. I think my paint job turned out better on this one. But again, both sculpts aren't that bad. They're really good. Now let's go for Dutch. Now I think the winner here is definitely Rogue Miniatures for Dutch. He looks all muscly and badass. And now we'll look at Dutch from Studio Miniatures. Now his face, I think, is better, but proportion-wise, he's kind of bent over, a little silly looking. But the cool thing is all these guys, their heads are separate. So if you just want the heads, get the Studio Miniatures ones. Because if you're doing like Imperial Guard and you want to give them all the heads of these guys, the heads are a separate piece that glues on, which is pretty cool. But you can see the heads are kind of scale-wise a little oversized. All right, there's Blane. And here's the other Blane. Now, this minigun, to me, looks a little small, even though that's probably to scale. And his head's a little big as far as the sculpt is concerned. But there's Blane. Now, let's go ahead and grab the guy from... this one's from Hassle-Free Miniatures. This one's one of their resin ones. But look at that one. That's like the best Blane ever. Now, Hassle-Free hasn't put out the rest of Dutch's team as their own guys, but good God, that one's rad. And you can actually get that minigun separate too. If you are doing conversions, you can actually order that minigun separate from Hassle-Free Miniatures, which is pretty badass. Okay. All right, here's Billy. He's looking pretty good. It's like from the beginning of the movie when he just he got down to his bare arms. But then you got this one a little bit later in the movie. He's like got his knife out, lost the shirt completely. The double canteens. God, that's an awesome figure. All right. Now, there we go. Here's the last one. Mr. Shane Black himself. I got a little hair on there. All right. Here's another one. Paint chipped off a little bit on there. I need to touch that up. His backpack looks a lot better. So there you go. So there we go. We have the team from, again, this one is Dogs of War from Rogue Miniatures. And then we have the Special Ops team from Studio Miniatures. We got this guy from Hassle-Free Miniatures. And, of course, the Predator from Protos Games. Now, speaking of Protos Games is also now known as Archon Games. At least that's their sister company. And they produced this lovely scenery. This is these Aztec Walls. These are from their Rampart Kickstarter that they had, and now you can buy these separately. They have a sci-fi gothic, and then they have the Aztec. And the designer said that they deliberately made that W to look like a Weyland-Yutani W in that design. Now, what I've done is I've glued all this together. It's actually comes modular, so you could magnetize it, but I say go big or go home. And so anyways, that's it. So that's the beginning of my Predator scenario collection there. Well, with some Avatar floating mountains. But yeah, so I've got the bloody buddies hanging in there. The Aztec Ruin was just for fun. But next I have to do the Guerrillas Camp, and I've got some hostages that I've painted up. Actually, let's show you that right now. Okay, these hostage miniatures were amazing. These were from Spectre Miniatures, which I'll also put a link to their website on the description below. But yeah, Dutch, they gotta save the hostages. In the movie, they all get shot, but hey, they'll make great objective markers in this game. So there we go. So we got Dutch, we got some of these guys that they gotta go save. I'm probably gonna have to kit bash my own Anna, which they meet at the Guerrilla Camp. I gotta find some guerrilla soldiers. I gotta make a waterfall for Dutch to fall out of. I did order from Reptilian Overlords Miniatures a Dutch that look with a bow and arrow, and he's all he looks like he's covered in mud. I forget what name they had for him, but yeah, Reptilian Overlords, they have a Dutch and Rambo combo, and they've named them something else, but they're pretty cool. I've ordered them, and hopefully they'll get here eventually. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Again, my name is Jason, the AVP Wargamer, and keep having fun.